Hello and welcome to another edition of Victor Alonge on Real Estate, your weekly real estate show that comes to you every Wednesday of the week. My name is Victor Alonge, I'm your anchor, and I want to thank you for joining us for this edition. This week we will continue what we started last week, looking at the impact of valuation on the presentation of real estate contribution to the economy. And we will continue on that discussion this week, and we'll be looking critically at what impact valuation could have in presenting real estate contribution. Appropriate valuation in terms of getting the right professional to do the valuation will present an opportunity for real estate to be properly presented in terms of contribution. But where you have valuation done by less qualified, less appropriate person, then you have a problem of either underrepresentation or overrepresentation, as the case may be. I'll be looking at this more closely after this short break. Please don't go away. Hello and welcome back. It's still Victor Alonge on Real Estate. My name is Victor Alonge, your anchor. And like I said, we're going to continue from where we stopped last week regarding the importance of valuation in actually placing real estate contribution in an economy. The truth of the matter is real estate, assessment of real estate in an economy, we'll probably be looking at one, the contribution of real estate to GDP, which effectively will have to be the actual transaction prices of all the real estate transaction that's happened within a particular accounting year, and also the volume of real estate, the totality of the asset, real estate in an economy, which is essentially going to be sort of valuation, of that asset. So in both of these, valuation is key, because even in consummating a transaction, valuation will have to come in, to provide the basis of that transaction. And if the valuation is not properly done, especially by professionals, that could actually mislead, and it could lead to what is actually termed in economics as suboptimal resource, allocation or transaction. So it is important that we appreciate the role of valuation in actually consummating transaction or presenting the totality of the asset, real estate asset, for instance, in an economy. And this week we will be looking at that, where in an individual setting first, in terms of why are valuation commissioned, why are they important, what are they actually used for. And the first thing I would like to emphasize there, is that valuation, help us to get an understanding of the difference between value and price. I said earlier, that before transactions are consummated, the parties ideally should be advised, so that the basis of their decision would actually be objective. And that basis of advice, is actually valuation provided by professionals. And in actually buying or selling or even investing decision, you need valuation reports to guide you, as I said earlier on. And in making this decision, you want to be as objective as possible. And you also want to detach yourself from that transaction in terms of no sentiment attached. You want to look at the transaction in arm's length format, and therefore you want a proper advice, and that is where valuation comes in. And the point is, each of these aspects of the economic activities at the end of the day comes together in an aggregate form to impact on the aggregate economy. And that is what we look at when the GDP is actually presented, and the contribution of each of the sector. So property is actually very, very important in an economy, but the point actually is that the way it is presented, we need to ensure that it is not underrepresented and it is not overrepresented. And it is important, therefore, that professionals that are actually trained, are allowed to handle the valuation. You see, there is something that, we used to say, that, valuation is both a science and art. And I actually want to believe that it's even commercial now, because, valuation has moved from just being, a brick and mortar store to even finance. It's more of finance now than even brick and mortar. So you would actually say that valuation is a science, it is also an art, it is equally commercial, and that is what valuation is. And in an economy, you've got to have a proper understanding of these three elements put together, so that you'll be able to provide the required level of professional advice that is required, and that is what estate surveyors and valuers do. It's therefore not surprising that even the Public Procurement Act, which is the document that guides how federal government now disposes the assets of the country, recognizes the importance of valuation before public assets are sold, before you even begin the process of disposing it. You are expected to carry out valuation, and that will form the basis of that disposal. But the other thing that we need to also emphasize here is it is for the public sector to get value for those disposal. Therefore, if the public sector will actually have to get that benefit, then the right professionals must be saddled with the responsibility of carrying out that valuation. And that is something that the government and even professionals need to come together to emphasize on and ensure that it's not compromised. Let's take a break now, and I'll come back to you after this short break. Don't go away. Welcome back. It's still Victor Alunge on Real Estate. My name is Victor Alunge. I want to thank you for being part of this program this week, and I hope you've had a great time with us. I want to ask you to be part of this program by sending your comments, your opinions, and suggestions on this program to our addresses shown at the end of this program. Until I come your way next week, I want to thank you and invite you to continue to watch Victor Alunge on Real Estate. Until then, please continue to keep safe. Goodbye.